Good afternoon, everyone. We're coming to you again here from Head and Chick Studio upstairs in our retreat center. And you know what? I may be a little nervous today because I actually have a live studio audience with me. Yay!
We do.
But we have retreaters up here working today. So if you do happen to hear sewing machines in the background or any little noise going on, we've asked them to keep their We're going to keep rolling, and hopefully our studio audience will be good participants for us today. So we're going to get started today with our Take Home Tuesday, and Kelly is back with me again today. We're actually going to take, I think, it's maybe almost like a little step back in time, something that maybe we haven't really talked about or people don't think about much. But we're actually going to talk about fabric yo-yos today. And maybe like yo-yo, like the woo 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 and do some tricks. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the little circles that are gathered up into a little yo-yo. And so the inspiration for today, when we've been talking about stuff, is actually this project. I'm going to slide this out of the way for a second. But look at this. This is a yo-yo quilt, table topper, whatever you want to call it, that was made by Heidi's grandmother. All hand sewn, stitched together, and isn't this just beautiful? And her stitches, if you look so close, her yo-yo, the little gathers are so tiny. But this is really the inspiration, because yo-yos are such a great way to use up, again, we keep talking about using up some of our stash or some of those scraps that we might have laying around, but it can create such a beautiful project. And today, we are actually going to turn the table on you a little bit. We want to know what you come up with to create with a yo-yo or yo-yos or your ideas. So we're going to be watching for the comments down below that you can come back and post, or come to our, in fact, I think the best way to do this, they can post them on here, but come back to our Hen and Chicks creative community that is on Facebook. If you are not a part of that, just ask to join, you'll get in. We would like to see your creations or your ideas of how to use yo-yos in there, and we'll be watching those in the next few days to see what people come up with.
I'm really excited to see what you guys have to show us.
Yeah, and the other thing even is, when we're working on this, we know there is so many different techniques and ideas and different ways to do and accomplish even the same things. So we know sometimes what we do, even when we do things, we aren't doing them exactly the same. And we're going to show you a little bit about that as we get going here. Now, we're not going to turn you totally loose, even though you can handle it, I'm sure. We are going to go through how to make a yo-yo in case you don't know, because there are people maybe watching Kelly that aren't familiar with this. Again, it's a project you don't even need a sewing machine. So if you don't have a sewing machine, totally fine. There is a picture of this on our website that will be up if you wanted to see this too and get an idea. Absolutely beautiful. We love this. So when we make the yo-yos, we're looking to make a circle. And so a couple different things we have. Now here at Hen and Chick Studio, we actually have the Big Shot, and this is available if you're coming into our studio. But we're actually going to use that. You can use that to create a circle, and we've already used it, and we've put our fabric on here and ran it through to create a big circle. While I'm talking, Kelly's going to kind of go through this. If you don't have the Big Shot, which is one way to make them, but if you don't happen to have the Big Shot, you can also just find something like a circle to trace in your home. For instance, the ones that I was doing prior to coming at this weekend, I just simply put a canning lid onto my fabric, and I used a fabric pencil, and I just traced around it. So if you don't have a Big Shot, it makes it quicker, but you certainly don't have to have it, okay? One trick, and so on this, see, our circles are already cut. So it just makes it real nice that way. If you have one of those, or if you're interested, call the studio, we can teach you more about it. A trick I would share with you, if you are cutting multiple out at a time and tracing them, go ahead and put multiple layers down at one time and trace your circle on there, and then I just simply pin it together, my layers all together here. Whoops, and it helps if you have a straight pen. And then I cut around the circle, so then my layers stay together, and it may not be the perfect circle when I'm done, but we're gonna sew it anyway, so right, what's it matter on this? Now maybe when you're quilting and making something,
that's different.
That's a little bit different, but this we have a little bit of creative freedom on. Of course, when you mess up when you're quilting, you always have a creative freedom anyway, so it's always about being creative. Okay, so we have already taken and we have our circles cut for us. And these are approximately a 4-inch circle. I've used different sizes. We have some larger and some smaller that we can use as well. And so when you are creating these yo-yos, there's a couple different ways, and Kelly's getting her needle ready, and I think we have to thread the other needle. Couple different thoughts. Now, if you're thinking ahead, and we're going to show you some project ideas here in a little bit, but if you're thinking ahead, it does kind of make you want to wonder, how are you going to be using it? So if I am not using it in a project such as the one that Heidi's grandmother made, where they're all, you can see on there, I think, probably very nicely finished and together. But if I'm going to come back and use it for something that I put like a button on, you can see that one, we put the button on it, I might want to finish it a couple different ways. So if I'm doing it this way, the way Heidi's grandmother did, or I might want to put it on a towel or something such as that, and leave this exposed, I'm going to want to finish. I don't want any raw edges on the fabric showing. If I know I'm coming back and putting a button or a bedazzle or something else on top of it, it probably doesn't really matter if I take the time to finish the edges, because it's going to be hidden underneath something already. So a couple different things to think about there. Now we're going to approach it as if, right now, Kelly's going to do hers as if she is going to have the finished edges. So what she's simply doing is she started her thread, and now she is finishing it a little different than but she started her thread, and did you see that? Can you hold it up there again,
Yeah.
Kelly, when you get that pulled through? She's running a simple basting stitch all the way around the edge, and she's just hand folding over that edge just a little bit. Let's hold it up like this, Kelly. There you go. So Lizzie's behind the camera for us today, so she's trying to get it on there. So do you see how she's just kind of folding it over just a little bit as she goes? Now, if you want to be really picky and take the time, but I don't have enough attention span to do it, you could actually go through an iron and press that edge down all the way around so that you could have it. You could even use a piece of cardboard or fold it over the template and iron it so you have a nice crisp edge. There's also templates available, but again, all things, it's up to you what you want to do. You don't have to have all that to make something creative.
No, just make it quick and easy so you have something fun. Share it with a friend.
So I'm actually going to do it the other way. I know I'm going to put a button in the middle of it. So I am not going to fold my seam over. I am simply going to, and I use the thread, and I put a knot in the bottom of the thread before I start. And I am simply just going to run that basting stitch. I'm going to try to do it backwards and not look. That basting stitch around the bottom. I'm not worried about turning it over this time. Can you see that? Okay, I'm not worried about turning it over. I'm just worried about running that basting stitch around the bottom as much as I can. Again, the raw edges are going to be covered up. A raw edge, if you don't know what that means, a raw edge is just that it's unfinished or it's exposed. It's the part of the fabric that's cut. So as we're running this around, Kelly, what's some ideas that you might have of things that you could use? That don't give them a hint to things we're going to share, but do you have other ideas?
Well, obviously we could have made that table topper there. How about somehow you would applique that on a quilt top?
Okay, yeah, so you could applique, you could put it on things. And we're going to show you some different ideas, but you see, we're almost all the way done with just basting around ours already. And you end up with this almost cute little sachet that actually you can make it into that if you prefer to do that. But that's not what we're doing. We're doing yo-yos today, and I'm trying to talk and stitch and make sure I'm doing mine so all at the same time. It's amazing how we can multitask around here.
We can.
Okay, so now we've got to the end, and we've basted all the way around. We've ran that basting stitch all the way around, and I'm not perfect about it. It doesn't matter the stitch length. No. So now I'm simply just going to pull it up. Now I stick my finger down in there. That way I can kind of put the gathers around and make it a little bit more even. So now I've pulled it up. You've pulled yours up.
I pulled mine
now
up.
here's where pay attention, because Kelly and I both do this different. We learn from each other. And even our studio audience today probably has different ideas than what we're saying on film. So they probably want to get on, right, and tell us how to do some stuff. So we've pulled it tight. Kelly,
I just tie a square knot.
so she's left a tail at the beginning of hers where I've tied a knot and pulled mine tight.
And I just loop it over like you would tie anything and just simply tie a knot.
So she's doing it that way. Now remember, I have the unfinished or the raw edges exposed. I'm just pulling it tight Okay, I'm pulling it tight, and then I'm just putting a stitch with my needle through. And then I just tie it off that way. If you aren't familiar with that, again, just call us at the studio. We can help you learn these things. And sometimes I give it a couple knots where I've gone through. Okay, so now we both accomplished basically the same thing in a little bit different way each time. So now we each have a nice little yo-yo. So you will see the difference now. Hers has the finished middle. Mine has the unfinished middle, or you can see those raw edges on there. But remember, this one we're going to put a button or something on, where this one is just ready to go if we wanted to, whether we wanted to put it on a quilt or sew them together to make a strand. So 2 simple ways to make a yo-yo, and you could see we could do that while we were talking, and it took very little time. Now, the fun. What can you make with it? Besides a table runner or a tabletop or whatever. Guys, I did this while I was watching TV again the other night. So simple. So one of our ideas that we came up, and if you want to be part of my garden, we made these cute little popsicle sticks where we used one, and now you can see where I went back and put the button in.
Wouldn't that be a fun little Mayday gift for little ones?
Mayday or a message. Now, what could I use this? This is really just to hold it. It's not really my flower garden, but it looks cute. So I actually think this would be a really nice bookmark.
Oh, I think so too.
Or if you're flipping, if you're a quilter and you're flipping through and you want to mark it in something, or a recipe or something like that. Or you could just make your own little flower garden as a decoration. But like Kelly said, May basket, Valentine's gift. On the back of ours, we've actually wanted to write some personal messages. So we just went back and we wrote some positive messages on the back of each one. And I don't know if you can read it on there or not. I don't even know what that one says. What does that one say, Lizzie?
This one says, be a nice human.
And you can see each one of these we've used, like this one I used a button and a bedazzle because every girl needs some sparkle in her life, for sure. I always need the sparkle anyway. So each one of them we just wrote, and so it might be even if it was a teacher, or you could do jobs.
Oh,
I used to teach school, so little job sticks, we always had those, or things that rewards for your kids. So that's one idea. Now we're just giving you a few ideas. Remember, we want to see from you today and over the next week or so, even longer, what you come up with. How can you inspire others? How can you inspire us to make some other things? So some other ideas that we've come up with here. I just have a simple little bag here that actually this side has a name on it, but I took some and I layered them together. So you can see there's 3 there that I've layered together. On the back of it, I actually used it. It's not perfect, but remember, we don't have to be perfect. So I'm taking a step out of my comfort zone and letting everybody see how imperfect I am. But on the back of this, I've simply wondered under, and if you don't know what that is, it's just where it's a fusible, makes the fabric fusible, and I've put it onto another piece of fabric. So can you see how I just did that, Lizzie, and then flip it around? So now all 3 of those are paired together, ready to go. So some ideas of what I could do with this. I could come in and I could put it on a little handbag, or backpack, or bags, or anything like that.
Who doesn't have these little bags in their purse or for the weekend? Or...
Sure, yeah. I probably should get some. We even had like the little pins, like that you make the little pins that you could put it on. You could stitch it onto there, so you could put it on your sweater or on your jacket.
Oh, that's good.
Or even on a cute little hat, like those little winter hat thingies that you wear. I don't know what they're called.
Well, we could put them on Heidi's clothespin.
We could put them on Heidi's clothespin. We could make a new clothespin for Heidi. Maybe that's what we're gonna do, Heidi. I don't know if she's watching, but might be worth it. Or this one is just like one of these little clippy things.
Ooh, that'd be
Wouldn't
fun.
that be cute? And you know, this is probably, I don't know, Carolyn might wear this, but if we put some feathers on it, she'd probably wear a lot better. But you know, little girls, that might be good. Or I thought this was really sweet too. Again, these are things I just had laying around my house. But here's one of those stretchy headbands, especially for those little babies. Wouldn't that not be adorable on a little baby gift,
fun?
Or toddler, or my niece who's 8 would probably enjoy wearing it as well. So that's just an idea there. Of course, the extra bedazzle and the extra sparkle makes that one really great. So that's one way to do it. Another idea that we had, again, a simple idea. And you know, Kelly, as we've been hearing from some of our customers, sometimes it's not the amount of money you spend, but the thought you put into something, and it's the simplest little things. sometimes that make people smile. So even if you just send somebody in a card a little
Wouldn't that
thing.
be fun?
And so this one we actually just put on a paper clip.
How simple is that?
And so you can mark as you walk. So this one was marking a page for a recipe. Maybe that's what somebody wants for supper tonight. And to do this, again, it's imperfect, but it was what we had. We just cut 2 circles. Will you hold that for me for a second?
sure
Let me see if
will.
I can find my circles in my clothespin. I just cut 2 little circles out of a cardstock, and I used my hot glue gun, and glued 1 to here, and then 1 to the back of the yo-yo. And then I just put them together. That just gave it a little bit more stability to get over that little piece of wire upon the paper clip. So again, you can make it more decorative. You could use colored paper. It's what we had laying here. It's what we had around. Using what you have is kind of our goal of these Take Home Tuesdays, as you well know. I really think I like how the striped fabric turned out in these.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I think that one looks really cute. So Kelly, I know we had a couple more ideas. Like I said, we're giving you a lot of ideas, but we know you have more and better ideas.
Ooh,
How about some toweling?
that would be fun.
And this is going to be a little hard, Kelly. I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but you could simply take these and place them around your toweling or across your toweling, creating a pattern or whatever. We're just using random ones that we've, again, made. And then maybe you could pair it with some,
Use some rickrack and make some pretty little flowers, maybe.
or run the rickrack even under a cross or above. See, easy things to come up with a creative, personal touch little item for your home or for a friend or anything like that. What other ideas do you, I can't even remember.
Yeah,
I
a little
have,
canvas there.
oh yeah, we have these little canvases. Wouldn't this be cute for a little, you can make it a little magnet. Where's that little one that we bedazzled? Yeah, see? Stick that on a little canvas, put it on the refrigerator. See, all little things that you can do, things to be creative and just
Just
add
make
a little
somebody's
special
day.
touch. And we know our biggest thing that we love around here at Hen and Chick Studio is to see you, our customers, smile. And really, our customers do become friends and almost family a lot of the time. So if we can bring a smile to your face, that makes us happy. And we know that sometimes we all need that person to bring us a smile. So, any questions, any comments?
Nope.
Okay, we would love to hear again from you, your ideas, how you might do it differently, suggestions, show us pictures, make something and show it to us. I think it'd be fun if somebody made something really funky or a giant
yeah.
or something. Come up with something fun that will make us all smile in our Hen and Chicks creative community on Facebook. Again, all of this stuff will be posted to our website at henandchickstudio.com under our Inspiration Take Home Tuesday tab, so you can come back and watch it and enjoy our fine entertainment for 15 minutes a day. And I don't know, Kelly, do you have other ideas that you can think of? Or
Oh,
anything
I'm
to add?
excited to see what others do. Let's just make somebody else's day.
Yeah, let's go smile. And you know what? Have fun and be creative. We'll see you next Tuesday.